And from last week, like I always say, life shows up as us, and that can be confusing for people. What do you mean that life shows up as me? Well, you know, and if you don't know, I speak about energy. I speak about spirit. I speak about self. I speak about us. And for so long, we've got it ass about face. We put the cart before the horse. We've always believed that everything on the outside is why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling today. It's raining outside. I'm not so good. It's sunny outside. Yay, I feel in happy form. The children got up and went to school today with no bother. Yeah, I'm in a good form. The children were tired and they were messing about and it put me in a bad mood. So we always relied on the outside and just went with life. Whatever life hands you, whatever life deals you, you get on with it. And we've always done it the wrong way about. When I say life shows up as you, it's a reflection. Life is simply a reflection. Your mind will not comprehend it. My mind struggles with it at times too, but I know the more that I come into ease, the more that I come into peace within myself, the more that I just say, okay, what's today going to bring? The more that I absolutely love life. And by loving life, that's to love of self, to love me, how I show up today. For me, how I speak today to me, how I either doing something because I have to or I get to and I want to do these things. Whereas in life we've always, I have to go to work. I have to run 5 miles. I have to do these things in order of this misconception to feel in a certain way. And certainly is that wee tricky bit of come on, you know you can do it. Of that wee extra push. But how life shows up as us, as you think, as you speak, as you act, so shall it be. Now you do not have control over anything, anyone else. And again, we find that hard to let go of. The ability to let go of controlling what others have to say, what others do, what the weather's acting like, what's happening in our environment. We find that very difficult to let go of control. And it has come up during the week. Controlling, and especially with our words that we choose to say to our children. And I know in a moment when we react and we say something or we behave in a certain way, well, it's going to be monkey see, monkey do. As I said to a lady that I was speaking during the week, when her daughter that's brinking on 20 was out and where are you, texting, ringing, texting. The mother was doing this. And so what the mother done the next morning, she woke up in a rage. So that's how she began her next day. She went to sleep in a rage because you need to do this to try and to control you. And we believe it's out of love. I'm protecting you. I want you to stay safe. But how about that I trust in their knowledge, their wisdom, their ability, that whatever they choose to do, so be it. If there's consequences, there's consequences. There's always something to follow something, but this is their journey and lesson. And if we cannot master the ability to let go of that, as I said to her, what if your daughter gets into a relationship when she's older or a marriage and the husband's always on the phone? Where are you? What are you doing? What time are you coming home at? You should be home at. Well, the mother says I would tell her to leave, that you can do better than that. But she'll turn around to mommy and say, but you showed me. You taught me, you trained me how to be controlled. So we got to be very mindful if on the words and everything that we say. And if you don't want somebody telling you what to do, well then maybe we should let go of telling someone else what to do. Another lady during the week was saying that a family member, and they were just so irritating. They were annoying her. But she knew she had the tools and everything in place to step aside and to look within herself. What is it about my family member that's irritating me? And when she came to the conclusion, she knew that it's because they were telling her what to do. Now, she had to look inside herself and say, okay, if life shows up as me, have I been telling people what to do? And she discovered the answer was yes. Of course I have. So is it okay for me to tell people what to do, but to get annoyed and irritated when someone decides to tell me what to do? Life will show up for you every single time. And that's the magic. That's the beauty. How do you wish life to be for you? Be that first yourself. Now, I know when people are in a victim mode and they don't even realise they're in a victim mode. It was Arthur, it was Martha, it was the weather, it's my boss, it's the pay, it's the children, it's my weight. It's everything. And that's the total victim. Being a victim of the outside circumstances because we fail to take responsibility ourselves. Now, this does not mean going about beating yourself up, feeling guilty for saying this and saying that. It's the awareness of looking back and saying, okay, I seen what I do. Now, I saw what I done, but I'll change that about for the next time. If you're sitting now and you're not feeling so great and you can pinpoint something, it's because what he said to me, it's because what she said to me, it's because I'm miserable in my job, it's because they don't know my worth, then you need to take responsibility. So how do you change that about? And everything is consistent and persistence. Your thoughts, your words, your actions. And I know when you decide to do it on your own, we very easily go back into the old conditioned beliefs. Because by the time you're 35, and I've said this before, and it's knowledge, it's been about from the start of time, that 95% of us is already conditioned. You are conditioned, and there's that 5%, and I've wrote about that in A Woman's Journey. There's 5% of you willing that change. So as I said, if the two of them were in an octagon or a boxing ring, what would you put your money on, the 95% or the 5%? And to get that 5% increasing, the importance of being surrounded with like-minded people, the importance, and I will not stop saying this, of getting up early. And if you can't do it for yourself, you join in the group, because I will sing the praises of all those ladies that have been rising early and changing things. And I had a client yesterday and it done my heart. I could cry when I hear their stories of when they decided to change, when they made the change, how easier everything gets, how things just happen to come in. Things that they'd always been chasing before, chasing and wanting and worrying and were. And then when we decide to start putting practices into place, how things change about. You see, everything's the energy. And you can be sitting here and no one's good and no one's bad. It's not bad or wrong or right or left or anything, but they just have different feelings. So you could be sitting here and you could just have a ball of stuff. Nothing's going right. The bills are coming in. This one done this, that and happened. I lost my job and all these things. And you'll just find that one will come and the next one will come, the next. And you will be instantaneously manifesting this because life is showing up as you. But you believe that it's the outside that is making you feel the way that you feel. However, if you come to go, ding, ding, I am going to take responsibility and I'm going to change this about. And then we start changing things about what we believe about ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, how we just love self, that energy, and see things from a higher perspective. That this is simply only an experience. And then when that changes, then we have these ball of experiences here. And things just happen. Things are easier at home. Communication's better. Relationships start forming. New people start coming into your life. Things that you've been chasing just happen to turn up. And you're like, wow, wow. And it's the same, but it feels different because you're in a totally different vibration. Totally different. And it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility, how my life is for me. And yes, I cannot control what happens, who dies, who's born, who gets married, who leaves. That is not my control. But it is in my control how I choose to experience it. And when I see this from a higher perspective, I see that people are only meant to be in my life for a certain amount of time. And we become so attached to that human emotion, that safety, that knowingness, that when it steps away from our life, then we go through the emotion of either mourning, heartbreak, anger, resentment. We go through that because we must experience it. And it doesn't feel so good. But to know, okay, that's my experience. How do I learn from this? So I want to just quickly read this because I lifted the book this morning, A Life You Want, about inspired action. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And I will never ever be a false prophet of any of the words that I speak. I will always walk my talk. And I have done this time and time again because I know that this beautiful life is simply an experience. When people die, it's just the body that's gone. The energy never ceases to exist. So you must, so to be inspired, it's not to force. And that inspired action is something is tapping at you, something is saying to you, and something may just come in. You may just do something, but you've let go of fear when you're doing it. So inspired action, if you believe life is hard or you have to work hard to achieve the goodness in life, that is exactly what you will receive. As I think, as I speak, as I say, so shall it be. A hard life and hard work. I hear this all too often, especially in motivational videos where people are yelling at you. You must be willing to give up your free time to pursue your dreams. You must be willing to work hard around the clock to achieve what you want in life. But if you were to do this, who are you taking that precious time away from? Is it your family, your children, yourself? Do you find yourself saying, I am working hard to give my family a better life? And if the answer is yes, this is totally understandable. And you are not the only one. But when on that journey to what you dream of, do not neglect the precious time that you spend with your family, your children, and most importantly, yourself, your spirit and your energy. If you neglect yourself and your magnificence with hard work, when you arrive at where you believe you want to be, will you remember who you are? And I've seen many people, they get lost. Will your children love you more for the material possessions that you have gained for them? Or will they love you for the precious time that you have spent with them laughing and playing? Will your partner have found other interests by the time that you realise you have worked so hard, focusing on your dreams, that you have forgotten to spend time with them? I have learnt throughout my journey that when something begins to feel like it's hard work, I stop. Because this is not how it is to be. Somehow I have ended up on the wrong path. So what I simply do is I ask the universe, God, Spirit, Source, to send me the people or a situation my way. And sure enough, all comes because I've been forcing myself and had disconnected from my heart's purpose. Inspired action, on the other hand, is natural, where you get a feeling to do something, or you get a gut feeling, or something pops into your mind and you just follow it. Inspired action doesn't come without a bit of fear attached to it. It's the fear that we need to overcome and just follow what you're called to do. It might be simple things like lifting a phone to call someone, sending an email, going to an event, posting something on social media, just having a conversation. And to be honest, this is how all of the wonderful people in events have come about for me. You don't have to be one of the sheeple. That's my word, and I'm quite sure we see a lot. I was just speaking about people never cease to amaze me either. People never cease to amaze me either because they're afraid to stand out. They're afraid to be different. They're afraid, better not do that, because people love this word normal. Let's be normal. Let's stand in a queue. And I spoke to someone the other day about this. I came out of the Odyssey Arena one night, the OT Arena with my daughter. It was lashing rain. There was a queue of people standing at a ticket machine at the Odyssey side. There was a queue of people standing at the ticket machine for the car park at the car park side. So I said to my daughter, just let's go to the car, because one thing I don't do is stand in queues. And we walked past, and I kid you not, there was a machine sitting there. Nobody at it. I said to her, give me that ticket. We put the ticket in and paid. And out we went. Now, there was no notice, no sign, no anything on this that said out of order. But people were so afraid. I bet they're not stand out of the queue in case that machine's not working. Nobody even attempted it. Nobody even at the first machine said, there's another machine there. And sometimes people, they are full. There's such magnificence and power in us that we don't even realise. But we're afraid. Better not be not normal. Better be normal. If that's normal, give me weird any day of the week. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. Big deal. Anyway, I just wanted to do that. But inspired action, you have to take action. And here's another thing that comes about too. When people say, and then they put the block up. Something comes along and they put the block up. Oh, it costs this. Oh, it costs that. Automatically, there we go. Stop the dream. Stop the dream. When I started out and doing all that I'm doing, I had very little to no money. I never, ever, ever let that stop my way. Never did. Because if you see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand. And I know next year a lot of dreams are going to take. Things are just happening, all happening with ease, because life is an experience. I'm not going to change. I'm still going to be Evelyn, but I am going to have amazing experiences. I'm meeting wonderful people and doing fabulous things and thinking, Jesus, isn't life fabulous? Because I believe that to be true, that life is amazing. Life shows up as me. I am amazing. Life shows up as me. Life is love. I am love. Life shows up as me. So it's what you choose this day to believe to be true about you. And if you find it difficult to believe it's true to be you, reach out, form groups, get into groups, because it's here for everyone. It is here for everyone. How do you change your conditioning? Well, number one, there's awareness. I am conditioned. We think, how do I change that? Well, it's a thought. What are you saying? What are the words? What do you believe to be true? And ask yourself, is it the truth or was this somebody else's? Was this my mother's? Was this the teacher's? Was this the priest? Was it the minister's? Was it who? Who gave it you that idea? How do you change it? You take action. You change the thought. It's easy. It gets easier. The difficult part. So this is the conditioning. Am I ready for change? Do I really want change? And I know anybody that comes to me, I'll always have a conversation with them, because if people are waiting on somebody else to change, I will not work with people. It's not saying that they're bad, but unless they're prepared to take action and say, okay, I'm willing to give this 100%. So that's how we change. Number one, you have the awareness that I have been conditioned. So how do I change that about? So I want to be unconditioned into what I think, believe. Well, they're your thoughts, my words, my beliefs from here on in. And that's where you make the start. The kingdom, the power and the glory is mine, is correct. And I wrote that is thine because it is, that it says those words. It's thine, it's yours. And it has been said in the Bible, what is within me is within you. So how can we not see it? It's a time to rub-a-dub-dub these eyes and open up. Thine. People waited on this. I know the apostles or the disciples, the apostles waited on this kingdom, these thrones and everything to appear, because we have this human thought. A kingdom should look like this. It is thine, it is within, and it will show up without. So go forth and enjoy your life and be the change that you wish to see turn up for you. God bless. Bye-bye.